when we go on pilgrimage, we have the opportunity not just to go somewhere. It's not just to go see something. It's not just a tour, but it's a profoundly spiritual experience. We bring to that spiritual experience everything that we are as human beings. So I go on pilgrimage and I'm carrying with me all the stuff from home, all my recent encounters with people. I'm carrying with me, because I can't do this otherwise, I carry with me everywhere I go my entire history, my whole past, that which has been healed, that which is unhealed, that which is good, that which is bad. Like, I still have the same bad habits when I go to Italy as I do when I'm here. There's a Saturday Night Live skit with Adam Sandler where he's doing like a promotion for his tour company. We're going to take you to Italy. And he goes, I can take you hiking, but I can't make you somebody who likes hiking. If you're sad at home, you're going to be sad in Italy. You're just sad in a different place. I can't make you happy while you're there. Right? So, like, all of that, that's what we're carrying with us when we go on a pilgrimage. We haven't done this in a long time.
A Padre Samuele, back from Italia.
Yeah, that's
yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. I
Yeah.
shaved my head since the last time we were together.
Your hair is a lot shorter than I recall it being.
It is.
Yeah.
I asked my son what he thought of it. I said, "Do you like it?" And he said, "No." and then he proceeded to start picking up the pieces of my hair falling to the ground and began offering it to other people as gifts. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this should make me appreciate your opinion more or less.
So was this a situation of you cutting your own hair in the home, or was this like he was with you at the barber shop and decided to just walk around and?
No, this was
then he's getting other people's hair mixed in there too, and
this was Matt wanting to save $20, so
Gotcha.
I shaved my own head, and it went fine. It was pretty funny. Renee was a good sport. She was like, I'm going to learn how to do a fade. And I was like, okay, that might tell me something about how you feel about it. But yeah, very good sport.
Okay.
Anyway, yes, it's been a while.
How short did you go? Did you go like number one?
I went a
two?
5. It was a 5.
Okay.
So I would put my head down and let you see, but the thing is, you might see just as much scalp as hair. So, and
I
that's
have that
okay.
problem too. Don't worry, it's right back here.
Yeah. I think it happens to a lot of men after the age of 25.
Well, some of us end up with some of us end up with like a 2 front war where like this part's going back, the hairline is receding, but there's also like paratroopers that have dropped down here and are clearing the forest. So there's like that bald spot opening up
I
in
like
the
this
back.
military analogy. This is good.
Yeah.
This is
well,
good.
I tell people it's my natural tonsure. Once upon a time, tonsure was part of holy orders.
You were meant for the priesthood, a true vocation, a true calling. That's it.
I didn't need the shaving.
I don't know
tonsure.
how we
it just
explain mine,
by nature.
but yours is a true calling. Mine is bad genetics.
Yeah. Well, there it is.
Anyway, so you, good father, went on a pilgrimage.
Well, but before we talk pilgrimage things, just tell me, how long has it been since we actually sat down and recorded an episode?
Well, it's been at least
a month, right?
Yeah, it's been at least a month.
Well, I'm glad that we were able to get ahead and have enough stuff, and that we were able to reissue the Father Spitzer episode. That was fun. Did we do any other re-releases?
Yes. Yeah. So the day we're recording this 1 full week before it will come out. Yeah. So last week, I suppose, says future Matt. I guess it's also present Matt. This is weird. We released the episode with Father Vincent Lampert. Because neither of those 2 episodes. Well, why did I choose them? I chose them because they were both great episodes. I got to re-listen to the Father Spitzer episode, and I was just blown away by just how knowledgeable he is. He knows so much. Can I tell you my favorite moment of that episode?
Okay.
My favorite moment of that episode is when he starts talking about the Shroud of Turin. I asked him to briefly dig into that. That was exactly what I said, and he's talked about it for about 25 minutes, which was fantastic. I was like, this is great.
If I'm recalling the experience correctly, I think it was 20 minutes nonstop.
Yes,
where you and I just sat in stunned awe at the way he was able to recall everything.
With the
he just knew everything.
He said he started talking about cosmogenic isotopes, And as soon as he said the phrase cosmogenic isotopes, you and I both interrupted him at the exact same time and said, yeah, that was what I was thinking. And I was like, this is why Father Sam and I have a show together.
We both
were like, we're out of our league.
Yeah, we're just dummies. Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah. I was cracking up as I was editing,
I'm just thinking how nice it is that we've done enough episodes that we can do a re-release every once in a while.
We've done well over 100 at this point.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. It actually might be because we've been doing the show for about 3 years, so it might actually be over 150.
Wow.
But I chose those 2 episodes because they had not gone to YouTube yet. So they weren't, even though they were technically a re-release of episodes that had come out 2-3 years ago, because they actually came out very close to one another. Mm-hmm. They're really like a first time release as well to YouTube. So
this would be a good opportunity for us to suggest to our podcast listeners, go find us on YouTube as well.
Yeah, that way you'll get all of our bald jokes.
You can see our beautiful faces, not just hear our beautiful voices.
Exactly.
Or something like that. Whatever. All right,
this is real good.
Let's talk about going on pilgrimage. That'll be more fun.
So you went on pilgrimage.
We could throw in here that we did an episode with Jennifer Coffey Shevchuk.
Yes, we did.
About integration pilgrimages, which is the pilgrimage that I went on with her.
Yes.
So
remind me, were you like a leader or were you a chaplain?
I was a chaplain for this, yeah. And I suppose a leader in the sense that because
you've done the mentorship program.
Right. So Jen's whole idea was to bring the experience of pilgrimage into like a fuller human experience, that when we go on pilgrimage, we have the opportunity not just to go somewhere. It's not just to go see something. It's not just a tour, but it's a profoundly spiritual experience. But we bring to that spiritual experience everything that we are as human beings. So I go on pilgrimage and I'm carrying with me all the stuff from home, all my recent encounters with people. I'm carrying with me, because I can't do this otherwise, I carry with me everywhere I go my entire history, my whole past, that which has been healed, that which is unhealed, that which is good, that which is bad. Like, I still have the same bad habits when I go to Italy as I do when I'm here. There's a Saturday Night Live skit with Adam Sandler where he's doing like a promotion for his tour company. We're going to take you to Italy. And he goes, I can take you hiking, but I can't make you somebody who likes hiking. If you're sad at home, you're going to be sad in Italy. You're just sad in a different place. I can't make you happy while you're there. Right? Like all of that, that's what we're carrying with us when we go on a pilgrimage. And what Jen has done really brilliantly with integration pilgrimages is she has brought together the experience of being on pilgrimage with the human need to really process the experience, and to give space where things that we might be carrying with us are also, it's also fair for us to talk about. It's also something that we can bring forward. So this pilgrimage, I think, was really beautifully paced.
Cool.
In that we weren't trying to do too much. Like, my aunt recently went on a tour in Italy, and her critique of it, I think she had a great time. I think she was really happy about it. In fact, we figured out that she was going to be in Rome and that she'd be able to go to a mass with Pope Leo that didn't require tickets. She could just show up. And so she got to go to mass with the Pope, which was, just awesome. I was so excited for her.
You also went to mass with the Pope, am I correct?
Did not go to mass with the Pope, no.
Okay,
audience, Wednesday audience.
Wednesday audience,
but no,
okay.
But no mass, unfortunately. Anyway.
If you had gone to mass with the Pope, would you have had the opportunity to potentially celebrate?
Probably.
That would have been awesome.
That would be very cool. That would be very cool. Yeah.
I'm just saying,
I wouldn't be upset about an opportunity. Well, I'm willing to go back. It's just,
Come on, tangent trip to Italy.
It's just us. We bring no one with us.
My wife and kids stay home.
Renee stays home. It's just me and Matt. We're going.
I'm going to Italy with Father Sam. Sorry. But I'll tell the Pope you said hey. Father Sam is celebrating. I am the altar boy.
Do you still remember how to serve? Do you still remember how to serve?
I think I do. I mean, I think I do because I did it for so long. I did it at my parish, and I did it at school with you when I was in high school. And Also, and I think this is probably even more important, I have continued to go to mass. And so it's not like I stopped seeing it, like
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I could pick it up pretty like almost instantly, maybe with like a pick up that one first,
Yeah. Start there.
A pointer here or there. But,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, no, the pacing
Tangent
of this,
number
of this
4,
pilgrimage.
over.
Yeah, I thought that the pacing of the pilgrimage was really wonderful. A lot of tours they try to pack in too much. So my aunt's tour, they had like 8 different things that they were doing on a single day, and I'm like, you can't do all of those things.
Yeah.
Or at least you can't appreciate them. There's too much packed into the day.
Yeah,
you
can't
slow
fully
down.
appreciate any of them.
Yeah. You've really got to kind of slow down. And the beauty of being able to slow down is that you start to actually see things and appreciate them in a different way. What was fun for me was I studied in Rome for my seminary formation, and so I know the city very well. I've never been as a pilgrim, so it was my first time really going as a pilgrim. Yeah, every time I've gone, I went to live there. That was my first time in Rome. I'm going to come live here for 4 or 5 years. So that was it. I had never been there before. I'd never been to Italy, never, done anything like that. So
had you been out of the country? Yeah, you had, because you went to Mexico, right?
I'd been to Mexico and Canada, which is,
Yeah, does Canada count? Take a strong stance here.
The Canadians
just
say
yes or no. No explanation.
No, it doesn't count.
Moving on.
It's way too similar. I'm sorry. I know it's not the same. But it's way too similar.
Our major sports leagues have teams in both countries.
Yeah. So it's not different enough. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway.
Too much interplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had never been to Rome as a pilgrim. Yes. Really, I'd never been to Italy as a pilgrim, though I've made trips to Assisi and to Loreto, which are the other places that we visited besides Rome. I'd never gone with this intentionality of being there as a pilgrim. So that was a very new experience. And typically also when I've been either by myself or I've been with my friends who also studied in Rome. So the other times that I've gone back to Rome since I finished my studies, the other times that I've gone back to either to visit friends who were still studying over there, or I've gone back with people who had studied there. And we were always going back for some sort of I was vocation director, so I was going back to visit the seminary and talk to the seminarians. I was with the bishop. I went back to visit Monsignor Powers, who's the rector of the seminary, things like that, not for any purpose like I'm going because I want to spend time in prayer at the following places. I would always make time for that, but it wasn't the driving force behind the pilgrimage, or the trip rather. So this being a pilgrim, and being a pilgrim in the Jubilee year was really big. I started to appreciate the Jubilee year in a way I don't think I've ever appreciated it before. I've never really spent any time thinking much about the Jubilees. The Jubilee has always it happened in 2000 when I was still in high school. And then the extraordinary Jubilees happened outside of the time in which I was studying. And so I never saw one of those extraordinary Jubilees. So I never really got into it, but I have never seen the city of Rome so crowded with people.
Really?
It was packed. Everywhere you turned, there were people. And
there were canonizations coming up too, right?
Well, there were canonizations. We were there after Pier Giorgio Frassati and after Carlo Acutis. But we were there before Bartolo Longo and whoever else was canonized. I can't remember all the saints. Yeah.
Excuse me. There were 6 others, but it was yesterday, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
so.
with that combination, plus every week during the Jubilee year, it seems, I'm not sure if it's actually every week, but it seems like every week, there was a Jubilee 4. So there's a Jubilee of catechists, there's a Jubilee of religious. So different groups were coming in because that particular aspect of their life was being celebrated in that week. And so just everywhere you turned, there's people. It's just packed. Every time you'd pull up to one of the basilicas, we went to St. Mary Major, there's buses all over the place. You go to St. John Lateran, buses everywhere. Go to St. Paul's outside the walls. St. Paul's outside the walls, there's never anybody there.
Right,
and
it's outside the walls.
50 buses lined up outside the basilica.
Right. Well, it's one of the basilicas for the indulgence, correct?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But when you see this, like, to me, it just illustrated how important this year really is, and the idea of pilgrimage, how important it really is. Like, things that I don't think I ever appreciated in the same way. I've gone on pilgrimages to different places, but to me, Rome has always been more of like home, more like a place. I lived
very
there.
interesting.
I studied there, so I've never thought of it so much as a pilgrimage. But
right, you weren't a pilgrim; you were a resident.
Right, but there was something really powerful about going back as a pilgrim that I was not prepared for, to be honest, and that I was experiencing in a different way. So it was really
it's
nice.
a good thing you were on an integrated pilgrimage.
Very, very good. Yes.
Right.
Indeed,
because you weren't prepared, but you bring the whole of your person with you, because that's how it works.
That's it. That's exactly it.
How convenient.
We got to have Mass in the crypt of St. Peter's Basilica, which was wonderful. That was
now,
our
were you
first
celebrating
full day.
Mass?
As it happens, on our first full day, we arrived. So arrival day was Monday. And so as everybody's kind of getting in, we had some touring around Rome. Mostly it was, I realized, a very strategic move, which was to keep us active so that we would stay awake until evening and then go to sleep at a normal time so we'd get our body clocks back on schedule, which was very smart. It did mean that I had to walk around the Colosseum, and I hate the Colosseum. I don't find the Colosseum interesting. I know that makes me a super weirdo. I'm also not intrigued by the Trevi Fountain, and I had to go and see that. And like these were things that they never appealed to me when I like first arrived, and they've never appealed to me since then.
Well, I mean, especially the Trevi Fountain,
crowds.
right? I mean, the Trevi Fountain's also like,
it's pretty. I mean, it's pretty at night.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not even really.
It's a big fountain.
Like, it's not like a pilgrimage site, you know.
No, it's not.
It's like a touristy thing.
We're going to walk around. We're going to see all this stuff. But it was actually a really good move. It was a really good move for us to go and do that because, number one...
Plus, you get it out of the way the first day.
Yeah. And listen, there's a part of this where I'm just being a snob.
That's okay.
Let's be real honest. I'm just a snob about things.
Yeah. I mean, you were a resident in Roma.
And here, there were plenty of people in this group who had never been to Italy. So this was their first experience. I don't begrudge them that at all. They deserved it. It was great. I'm so glad.
I'm just proud of you that you haven't broken out your Italian yet on this episode. You know, that would be real.
I don't need to do that. But va benissimo. It was fun. Like working up to feeling like I could have a conversation in Italian again, because that takes a little while.
Yeah, sure.
You get some basic stuff.
It's the opposite of being an altar boy, right? Italian leaves for a little bit. Being an altar boy, with you always.
Yeah, that's right. Like you try to do some things, but you're jet lagged and you're not sure what's going on, and so the words aren't quite coming out the right way, and then eventually they start coming a little bit more easily. It's all good. So that first night that we were there, there was a priest from Fargo, North Dakota, Father Luke Meyer, great guy. He was awesome to be with him for the week too. So he and I said Mass for the pilgrims. We just said Mass in the hotel. And then the next day we had Mass at St. Peter's, and I got to be the celebrant for that one. We just alternated days. One would be the celebrant, the next day the other one would. So it was very beautiful. We got to have Mass together. And then again, the timing of this pilgrimage was wonderful because we had Mass and then there was nothing until lunchtime. So the morning was wide open so that people could tour around the basilica. They could see everything. They could take a little walk around the neighborhood. They could go and pick up some souvenirs, which was a good thing because that was a Tuesday. And on Wednesday, we were going to go and see the Pope for the Wednesday audience. And at the Wednesday audience, the Pope blesses all of the religious articles that you've brought. So we had plenty of time on Tuesday to do all of that. The really beautiful thing for me that I wasn't expecting was how quickly we hit something that hit my heart very, very deeply, which was Tuesday. Said Mass in the crypt at St. Peter's.
You arrived on Monday.
Arrived Monday. Tuesday at 7 a.m, we're in the crypt for Mass at St. Peter's. I've said Mass down there before. To be honest, the Mass was not the thing for me that was really moving me. It was that after Mass, we left the crypt area and went back upstairs, and I was able to take about 10 people from St. Pius X Parish, my parishioners who came along on the pilgrimage.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I was able to bring them to the tomb of St. Pius X and pray with them there.
Wow. Oh,
Matt,
awesome.
I was not prepared for the way that hit my heart.
Yeah.
That I was really moved to tears praying at the tomb of Pius X with people from my parish.
Yeah.
I did not expect that. And there's something very profound there. I think I also realized how much St. Pius X has been a patron for me for years in ways that I don't think I understood previously. Because I was assigned here at St. Pius as a seminarian for a summer, I made it a point when I was back in the seminary to go and visit his tomb every chance I got and say a prayer for the people at the parish who had been so kind to me. And then after I was ordained, then I was here at St. Pius for the summer. When I went back for my final year of studies as a priest, I would always make it a point to go there. I said Mass at his tomb many times during that year that I was living in Rome as a priest. And I would always offer it as whenever I could for the people of St. Pius Parish. And then as a priest, when I've gone back, I think I've been back to Rome 4 times in my priesthood, outside of as a student. I would always make it a point to go to the tomb of St. Pius X, to be able to go there with people from St. Pius X.
Yeah.
I don't think I realized just how special he has been for me until that moment. And it was very moving.
It's so, I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm like really happy for you that you got that moment, because I am your friend. But
Thanks,
also
buddy.
beyond that, I'm actually surprised, because I was anticipating you saying something like, I went to the tomb of Benedict XVI. Because we had talked about how the last time you went on a trip to Rome, I guess I can't say pilgrimage, right? But a trip to Rome, you had gone to Benedict XVI's tomb, and how moving that was for you, know?
Yeah.
And so I was going to ask you before you had started, and I was like, well, you were going to tell me something important, so I'm not going to interrupt you.
Thanks.
I'll interrupt you at every other time, but not when you're telling me something moving,
Yeah.
I was going to ask you if you went to Benedict XVI's tomb, and I guess I still am, but it's awesome that you went to Pius X. Why do you think it was so moving? Like, other than like how has he been that patron for you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I have, every time I've been there, and in the, I think my last trip to Rome was 2 years ago. And before that, it was while I was still in the vocations office. But at the time, I knew that I'm not sure of the timing. I had either already started as administrator of the parish. So I knew that I was going to be here, or I had just found out that I was coming to St. Pius as pastor. So from the beginning of my time as pastor, I know that I had gone to St. Pius X and asked him to pray for me that I would be a good pastor of the parish that bore his name. And that I have asked St. Pius to pray for me many times. But for me, it was the fact that I was at his tomb with my parishioners and was able to kind of, as I said to them, I want you to meet someone. I want you to meet your patron.
I mean, that's so cool.
Yeah. Like,
it's so
he's
cool.
right here. He's right here. Come and meet him. That was a very special moment, because these are people who I've walked with, who I've prayed with, who I've preached to. These are also people who have been extremely supportive of me in my own priesthood. And I think, look, there's a gratitude that I think pastors don't always get to express. For the support that we're given from our parishioners. People are incredibly generous. They're supportive. They volunteer for stuff. They go along with our insane ideas, and they do it cheerfully. They do it with joy. And I can't help but look at myself sometimes and say, who the heck am I to have people like this who are willing to support me and help me? And here I am. I have prayed for the parish at this tomb. I have asked St. Pius to intercede for us, and here I am with, in some ways, the fruits of his prayer. That these are the people that have been moved and have also wanted to come here. And it was just very. It was a moment of unique grace. Yeah. That I know. I know those are moments that don't get to be repeated all that often. Most of us priests are assigned to a parish, the patronage of which we will never have the chance to go and visit that saint's tomb or do anything other than in our own private prayer invoke the intercession of that saint. But every once in a while,
so it's a gift in and of itself.
Yeah, every once in a while, you have the opportunity to go and bring people kind of to ground zero and say,
yeah,
here's the man himself.
Did you experience that moment as like a moment of your fatherhood? Because the way you said it just there, like, here, I want you to meet somebody, you know? Like, I do that with my kids, you know? Yeah. I mean, I guess, only my older son at the moment, given that my younger son doesn't say words.
Can't talk.
Yeah. Although, man, can he jibber jabber? He's the loudest person at mass. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I take such pleasure in introducing my son to like people who I like and care about, you know?
Yeah.
And so like, was that a moment where you like felt like a dad? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there were two moments, and this is a good segue actually. So that was one moment of like, this is a really important place. Well, three moments. All right. So there's that first moment of like, here's
the good news is that we don't have a time limit.
I know, it's great. Yes, spiritual fatherhood was very much alive in that moment of saying to the folks from my parish, here's our parish patron. And I did feel like I know him in a way that you don't. And I want to introduce you.
Yeah.
And of course, that's only a shadow of the ultimate introduction that I want to make, and that every priest is supposed to want to make for his people, which is I want you to know Jesus.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, here's this great saint who I think will also help you to get to know Jesus. So let's look at him too.
Totally.
And then shortly after that, Dr. Greg Batara was along for the pilgrimage with two of his kids, and I was able to take them up to the North American College so that we could see Monsignor Powers for a little bit. And I was also able to introduce them not just to the seminary to say, hey, this is where I studied. This is a really important place in my life. This is a place that's very near and dear to my heart. But also to introduce them to two of our seminarians from the Diocese of Bridgeport who are studying over there. And it was nice to be able to catch up with those guys. So that was the second moment. The third moment was, I believe it was Tuesday night. The good people of St. Pius X Parish can correct me on this, but I think it was Tuesday night. We had freedom to go wherever we wanted for dinner. And I told the people from my parish that I am going, whether you want to come or not, I am going to Ristorante Abruzzi, which is near the Gregorian University, near the Trevi Fountain, and has the best carbonara in the city of Rome.
Nice.
And I said, I'm going there and I'm getting carbonara. If you'd like to come, join me. And they came with me. We went in and I told them, you're getting carbonara.
Right.
And I set the menu for them because it was the right thing to do.
Yes.
One of the seminarians from the Diocese of Bridgeport joined us for dinner, and since he's a first-year seminarian, he has, and it's still early in their year, he had not had any opportunities yet to go and actually experience this restaurant. So it was really nice to introduce him to the restaurant too. And I said, see what everybody's talking about? He goes, yeah, I get it now. This is great. So it was just a great experience. So from the profoundly spiritual of encountering a saint to the very, very earthly and mundane of encountering phenomenal carbonara. I got to do it all in one day. So that was a great day for me.
I was going to say Tuesday was jam packed.
Oh man, it was glorious.
And how many days were you there?
So this is the other thing. I can't believe how quickly it all felt like it went by, but it was really beautiful. During the papal audience on Wednesday, let's jump to that for a second.
Okay. Again, that is only like 12 hours later in the linear context of your story.
Exactly.
So we're not jumping too far.
Right. It was a beautiful moment there too of, number one, just seeing the Church Universal and the crowds and seeing people coming out and recognizing that there's people who they're in Rome for pilgrimage, but there's also something about being in the presence of the successor of Peter that is very special for a Catholic. There's a sense of our spiritual father is here. And it's something that's shared by lay people, by bishops, by priests, by deacons, by religious sisters. You look to the Pope and you know that your father is here. And there's something extremely powerful. One of our guys from St. Pius is a Villanova grad, and he was actually a few years ahead of Pope Leo at Villanova. Oh my
gosh.
They overlapped. They didn't know each other, but they overlapped. So he brought a Villanova flag
Nice.
and was holding it up, and you could see him on the Jumbotron on the big screens. He's got the Villanova flag as the Pope's going by. That was very cool.
Oh, that's great.
But the Holy Father, first off, again, I've said this before, I'll say it again, hearing the Pope speak English with an American accent is the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
To listen to him speak and to hear him say these words that are ours. It just moves my heart in a way that hearing the Pope speak English in other eras has not moved my heart in that same way.
Yeah, sure.
But you also see the effort that the Holy Father makes as he speaks to be clear, to be precise with his words. And you see the effort that he makes when he speaks Italian and when he speaks Spanish. And apparently, I don't know if you saw this article, he's been active on, what's the language app? The language learning app. He's been
Duolingo.
Duolingo, yeah. He's been on Duolingo trying to learn German.
Really?
And there was an article, like his account shows up, like it's his old account that he had before he became
awesome.
Pope.
That's
And people like, the Pope is like at 4 a.m, the Pope's trying to learn German. What the heck? This is amazing.
Right.
So there's
that's actually great news, just for the right,
Yeah. Well, you
it
see him
seems like being able to communicate with the German church would be
a good thing right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you see him making this up. This was what struck me though at the audience, was that to the English speaking pilgrims, he said, in this month of October, please pray the rosary every day. He very specifically asked the English speaking pilgrims to do that. He also very specifically asked the Portuguese speaking pilgrims to do that. But he did that in Italian. So he said it in English to the English speakers. He said it in Italian. He said it in Italian again to the Tamil speaking pilgrims who were there.
Okay.
And then there was like one other time where I'm pretty sure on 3 or 4 different occasions during the Wednesday audience, he said, please pray the rosary every day in the month of October. And he really encouraged praying the rosary. He's already done that earlier in the month, and he's continued to do it. I am extraordinarily moved by the way that the Pope is asking us to pray the rosary, and I'm here for it. I'm on board.
Yeah.
I want to see this happen.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
Father Sam.
I believe in praying the rosary.
Here for saying the rosary.
Yeah. Anyway, so a lot of beautiful experiences with that, and then just beautiful experiences along the way. Like even I have not experienced everything there is to experience in Rome. So, for example, we got to go to the catacombs. I never went to the catacombs.
Really?
Lived there for 5 years, never went to the catacombs. We got to have Mass in the catacombs.
Wow. Did you celebrate that Mass?
I did.
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to say luck of the draw, because that's not what it was. It was just the way that we were alternating. Father Luke and I each got to be the celebrant for Mass in some very, very beautiful locations. We went to Orvieto on our way to Assisi.
Okay.
And so we stopped in Orvieto.
Remind me what that is.
Orvieto is the place where it's not where the Eucharistic miracle took place. The Eucharistic miracle took place. No, that's you're thinking of the blood of Saint Januarius that liquefies. Yeah. That's actually Saint Januarius's blood. No, this was a priest named Peter of Prague.
Oh, that's not a Eucharistic miracle. I see. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Saint Januarius is that's a saint miracle that's got nothing to do with the Eucharist. Okay. No, this man named Peter of Prague, he was a priest who was having doubts about transubstantiation, about the true presence of the Eucharist, and while he said Mass in a town, I think it's called Bolseno, not far from Orvieto, the host began to bleed, and the blood dripped onto the corporal on the altar. He took the corporal and went to Orvieto because, as it happened, the Pope was there, and the Pope called on this other guy who was also there, named Thomas Aquinas, and said, I want you to compose a Mass for this miracle. And that's when the Feast of Corpus Christi was instituted.
Oh my gosh. Right.
The cathedral at Orvieto houses the corporal on which the host bled.
Wow.
And so when you go to Orvieto, you're going for this Eucharistic miracle. So we got to have Mass at the Cathedral of Orvieto, which was very beautiful. And then we had lunch. And during lunch, we were sitting in this restaurant, and I looked out the window, and across the way, I saw a guy playing a bouzouki, which you and I have talked about, my
Yes,
acquired
we've
instrument
talked about
syndrome,
them.
and that I got a bouzouki. And I'm like, there's a guy
Yes.
playing a bouzouki. What the heck? And no joke, I had just been like, I'm getting to know the other pilgrims on this trip. I'd been talking to one of the pilgrims about my acquired instrument syndrome and the fact that I gave into it and had bought a bouzouki. And now I look, no joke, I look out the window, and not 15 feet from the window is a man playing a bouzouki. And then I realized that there's like two guys playing violin. And I go, there's an Irish music session happening across the way from this Italian restaurant in Orvieto.
right.
So I said, I have to go and see this. Excuse me. And I excused myself from the table, and I just walked outside. Dr. Greg Bataro was there, and he said that I was just like a dog, suddenly distracted. I had to go and see this thing.
Right.
So I went across the street, and sure enough, a full Irish session is happening.
Awesome.
And I walk over and I'm listening to them, and they're pretty good. And there's two violins laying on the table, unused. And I said, could I borrow a fiddle and join you guys for a tune? And the bouzouki player says, yeah, Father, I've got one here. And he hands me a fiddle. He was Canadian, living in Ireland. There was an Irish guy. There were like 3 Italians thrown in here too, playing Irish music. So I grabbed a fiddle, and we played Irish music together for a couple minutes. And it was the coolest thing in the world. And
that's
absolutely
awesome.
the last thing that I would expect. I was just so stunned by it that I just had to. It was like when Moses saw the burning bush, and he said, I have to go and see this thing. And he approached. I did not take my shoes off. I didn't think it was holy ground, but there was this is unreal, not something I was expecting. So anyway, there was that. Then we got to Assisi. We got there for the Transitus. The Transitus is the night before the Feast of St. Francis. It celebrates when Francis died outside the Porziuncola Chapel, down at the bottom of the hill outside of the old city of Assisi.
Does it look like the chapel at Franciscan in Steubenville?
That's a good question. I've only been.
Have you seen it?
I have.
You've only been to the real one.
No. I've been to both.
Okay.
I've been to the port at Steubenville, but I don't remember it well enough.
Okay.
Please forgive me, Franciscan University of Steubenville. Your beautiful adoration chapel did not make enough of an impact on me for me to remember it. I'm sorry. I repent. So I don't know how much it looks alike. I don't know if it's a replica or if they just nicknamed it the Porziuncola. Anyway, so we were there for the beginning of the Transitus celebration. There's a big procession outside the basilica. That was really cool. The next day we got to go up on the actual feast day of St. Francis of Assisi. We got to pray at the tomb of Francis, and we actually ended up, the timing was wonderful. Assisi gets very crowded for the feast of St. Francis, and there was added security because I think the president of Italy went for the feast. So they had to have all this extra security there. Because of all that extra security.
That's really cool. Just like a quick tangent. That's really cool that the president of the country showed up for the Feast of St. Francis. Yeah. You know, like it's one thing to get it's not nothing, you know, like if the president were to wish you Merry Christmas, you know, via the television or whatnot, you know, I guess now it would just probably be a tweet. But you know what I mean? And like, that's not nothing, you know?
Sure.
But like the level of depth to, I don't know, like how many people are like nominally Christian and or not Christian at all and wish people Merry Christmas, you know what I mean?
I think what it's a sign of is how deeply rooted Italian society has to be in Catholicism, even though the practice of the faith is not especially robust over there.
Is it not?
It's much like the rest of Western Europe. There's been a decline in the practice of the faith, and it's hard. But at the same time that there's been that decline, there's also lots of signs of hope. I think one big one is the sheer volume of people coming to make pilgrimage, especially to Assisi. So we got to spend a significant chunk of time, like 30 minutes at the tomb of St. Francis on his feast day, because if we went back upstairs, so you go downstairs at the basilica to the tomb, if we went back upstairs, we would have been ushered outside and had to get back in line, but we wanted to be there for the English language mass. So everybody just kind of stayed down at the tomb. So we got all this extra time. at the tomb of St. Francis, which was an incredible experience, a beautiful opportunity. So we got to pray at the tomb of Francis, and then we got to be there for Mass. There was a retired American bishop, I can't remember who it was, who celebrated the Mass. An American Franciscan preached, which meant that I just got to kind of be there as a concelebrant. During communion, Matt, during communion, I'm sitting there, and I happen to look up at the communion line, and I see this guy in line, and he looks over at me, and he gives me a, "Hey, what's up?" nod. And I realized that's my friend PJ. So PJ Anderson is a Catholic recording artist in Nashville, Tennessee, who I know through Catholic Heart Work Camp. And he happened to be in Assisi with his parents for a pilgrimage that he was leading, because this is his other job. Besides being a musician, he was in Assisi leading a pilgrimage. So it was like, here's this guy who I know from the United States, from a context that has nothing to do with pilgrimage, and he's on pilgrimage. This is really cool. So I got to hang out with him a little bit, which was fun. And then the next day, he and his group joined us for Mass. We had a private Mass. So our group went from about 50 people to about 100 people. And he's a musician, so he played music for the Mass for us, which was really nice too. Then later that day, as it happens, the youth minister for the collaborative youth ministry that we have here in Fairfield, Bill Staley, great guy, he had come over to Rome because the guys from the North American College were being ordained to the transitional diaconate, and he knew one of those guys who was being ordained, who was a former student of his in youth ministry. So he came over for the ordination. And then I didn't realize that his plan was bringing him to Assisi. And so I'm sitting outside the hotel that we're staying at, talking with one of the pilgrims, and all of a sudden Bill is walking past, and I said, "Hey, Bill." And he looked over, "Oh, Father Sam, hey." So just like running into each other, unplanned, unexpected. It was great. But I got to see the tomb of Carlo Acutis, the newest saint in the church. That was something really special. Touched my rosaries to his tomb, and got to pause and pray there for a little bit, which was, again, just phenomenal that you have these little opportunities like that. Then we got to go to Loreto, and Loreto is, Matt, let me tell you, a really special place. Loreto is where the Holy House of Nazareth is. Can you tell that story real fast for those of us who don't know? Well, what you'll find in Nazareth itself is the Church of the Annunciation, and in the Church of the Annunciation, there's part of the house is there, where the Annunciation took place.
So this is Our Lady's house?
Yes, it's where Mary lived. So what we read about in Luke's Gospel, that this virgin in Nazareth, betrothed to a man named Joseph, was approached by this angel named Gabriel. That's where it happened.
I didn't even realize you were messing with me at first, but but what I meant was, this is Our Lady's house, but not like the house that the Holy Family lived in.
Well, so this is where it gets interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll come to that in just a second.
Telling me the Gospel of Luke.
I just wanted you to know the story.
So good. Yeah.
Set the scene. It's important to set the scene.
To be fair, I did ask you to tell the story. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so the story is that this house somehow ends up in Loreto, Italy, on the Adriatic coast of Italy. How does this house from Nazareth end up in Italy with a 2-year stop in Croatia? How is it that this
I didn't know about
happens?
that 2-year stop, actually.
Yeah, there's it stopped for 2 years in Croatia. And so the story is that the angels picked it up and brought it there so that it would be a place where Christians could go on pilgrimage. Now, I think that's a beautiful and pious story. This is why Our Lady of Loreto is the patroness of aviators, because her house was flown miraculously from Nazareth to Italy. And so she's the patroness of aviators and of astronauts also.
All right.
This is like one of those things where they didn't have a patron saint for that because it didn't exist until the 1900s.
Right.
And so there's like an Italian union of pilots that petitioned the Pope to make Our Lady of Loreto the patroness of all.
Our Lady of Loreto she's also the patron saint, the future patron. I don't know how you would phrase this. She should be the patron saint of those with attention deficit disorder, aka space cadets. I say that as someone who considers himself a space cadet.
You are a space cadet. Yeah, that's true. Anyway.
No offense meant.
Now, if the story of angels picking up a house from Nazareth and flying it to Italy seems fantastical to you.
Yeah.
We could do a little Father Robert Spitzer here and talk about the archaeological evidence for it, which is that the stone that the walls are made of matches perfectly the stones used in first century Palestine, the stones that would have been used in construction. It matches perfectly the stones used in all of the archaeological discoveries that they've had in Nazareth. The style, the way that the stones are laid out. The stones are stones and not brick. So they look very much like brick, but brick is composite, whereas these are stones that were cut for this purpose.
Wow.
And then there's graffiti in the house. Now, graffiti, not like our graffiti.
Not
what the early
vandalism.
Christians would do. Yeah, exactly. What the early Christians would do was to mark a place. They would carve little symbols so that you would know that this is the spot. Now, in Nazareth, people knew where Mary lived. They knew what her house was. Nazareth isn't that big. And so the Christians knew where her house was, where she had lived. And the chances are good that at the very least, the Holy Family would have stayed in that house when coming to Nazareth. There's also the sense that this house that Mary grew up in, when they fled to Egypt, they would have returned to Nazareth, and that would have become the house that they lived in, because by then probably Joachim and Anne were gone. So whatever the reason, anyway, this house is very real. Now, there's also a more historical, archaeological explanation for how the house got there, and that has to do with in the time of the Crusades, Christians going into the Holy Land wanted to preserve certain relics, and so out of a desire to preserve at least a portion of the house where the incarnation happened, where the Annunciation took place, this family, this man transported the walls of the house to Loreto. And the reason for the stop in Croatia was because it took him that long to have the funds ready to make the transport. So stopped in Croatia for a couple of years while he got more money, and then brought it over to Loreto. And that this man's last name was De Angelis, or De Angelo. And so the way it looked to people was, the angels picked it up, not realizing that it was a surname. So whether it was that kind of a mistaken identity or something else doesn't really matter. What matters is that the house is there; it's real. When you go into the house
is authentic.
It's the real thing.
It's an authentic relic.
Absolutely. When you go into the house, what you see, and this is really moving, is on the altar. A lot of times, on the front piece of an altar, you'll see "et verbum caro factum est," and the Word became flesh. But in Loreto, it says "hic verbum caro factum est," which means here the Word became flesh.
Oh, that's awesome.
And there's, again, something so powerful about it. Now, Loreto's a small place. There's not a whole lot that's happening there. So really, you can see Loreto if you've gone into the basilica. You've seen everything there is to see. But just a beautiful opportunity to pray there. Now, there was one other part of this pilgrimage that was very important for me. And that is that my goddaughter, who is 5 years old, before I left, I asked her, is there anything that I can, any spot you want me to pray for you? And she said, in front of a statue of Mary.
Okay.
And she said this to me as I'm preparing to leave for Italy. Where every church has at least like 4 statues of Mary. So my game became, I'm just going to take pictures of every statue of Mary that I can find and send it to her parents to show her. And so you go to Assisi, and the basilica, in the old city, the basilica of Our Lady Queen of Angels, has this massive statue of the Blessed Virgin Mary on top of its dome. And it's got to be a 20-foot high statue that's covered in gold.
Right,
It's this
right, yeah.
giant gold statue of Mary. So I took a picture of that one. I'm taking pictures of paintings of Mary, of mosaics of Mary. I'm taking pictures of statues of Mary. And at every one of them, I'm praying for my goddaughter. Well, I started to realize, well, if I'm going to do this for one of them, I better pray for all of my goddaughters. I've got 4.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Nice,
So
nice.
I'm praying for my goddaughters at all these places with the Blessed Mother. Then that gets me thinking, I need to be praying for these families that are near and dear to my heart, and these families who I know who are in need of prayer. So that was also starting to come up. Like, I'm thinking of families in my parish who I know need prayers. Then I'm thinking of my own family members who I know need prayers. And so this little request that came from a 5-year-old for a visit to a statue of the Blessed Mother turned into actually a thematic connection point for the course of my prayer during the pilgrimage. So a lot of things happened during that pilgrimage that I wasn't really expecting that turned out to be a very, very beautiful fruit of God's grace.
Totally.
Yeah.
So what day is this now? Like, have you... I mean, I actually don't know. I don't even know how long it really was.
Yeah.
But
So
did you end in Assisi?
No, we end our last leg of the pilgrimage was in Loreto.
Loreto, okay.
And then we came back to Rome, and we basically had a day in Rome before leaving. So it was like in the morning, we left Loreto. By early afternoon, we were back in Rome. We had one night in Rome, and then the next day, we all dispersed and flew home.
Okay. What was the trip home like, right? So like, because isn't a piece of the integration pilgrimages that, like, understanding that you were a chaplain on this, so it's not the experience that perhaps everybody else received, right? But there's like the prep, and then there's the during and the post. And so what was that like for you on the way out the door?
That's a good question. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Was it Marshawn Lynch who used to answer that? That's a nice question. Thank you for asking that. And then he wouldn't answer the question.
I don't know, but that sounds like something Marshawn Lynch would do.
I think it was Marshawn Lynch playing for the Seahawks.
Yeah, the Seahawks. Yeah,
and he's just like, I'm just here so I don't get fined. That's a good question. Thank you for asking that. That's a good question. Thank you for asking that. Anyway, I was excited to go home. I was ready to make the return.
It was 2 weeks, yeah? Like 2-ish weeks?
It was basically 10 days of actually being in Italy, but then a day of travel on either end. So like that becomes 12 days, which is basically 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Way to do math. That's great.
That's what's up.
No, but like after
that's why we're called
all
the tangent.
That's right.
The mathematics.
That's right. Well, I came back. I got back on October 9th, and then was here for the weekend, and then we had to leave because we had our priest convocation.
Right.
So when I came back from the convocation on like the 15th, I was back in the afternoon, and so the 16th was my first actual day of like being in the office with my staff in the entire month, which is so bizarre to me.
Right.
Just such a weird way to do things. So I was excited to come back. I was ready to make the trip home. Definitely ready to just get back to normal routine things that I needed to do. But I was leaving with a lot of gratitude for just the experience and for how everything had flowed so smoothly and went so well. So I was very grateful to God for all of that. Got on the plane, and guy sits down in the seat next to me, and he says, I was hoping I'd sit next to a priest, which is the last thing you want to hear before a 9-hour flight, by the way.
Right.
I was hoping I'd sit next to a priest. Oh no, I'm in trouble. This guy's going to talk to me for the next 9 hours. And no, this man, he was a beautiful witness. He said, Father, I'm really glad. And he reached into his pocket and he pulled out his rosaries and he goes, I can say the rosary on this flight and you won't think I'm weird.
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
And I was just like, I was so moved by that. And then I was joking about this weekend in my homily. I said, I had already said my rosary that day, so I wasn't going to like join him in his rosary. That's his thing. I watched a movie and he prayed the rosary. No, it was beautiful. So the return was super easy. Thanks be to God. I feel very blessed that, I don't know why, but I don't have travel problems. I know people, it seems like every single trip they go on, something goes wrong. and often catastrophically wrong.
Yeah. You have a
God
great
smiles on me
guardian
for
angel.
some reason.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what
Like
it is,
for whatever reason, and I don't understand it, I don't really have problems when I travel. I've just been very blessed and I'm grateful. But that was something I was actually really aware of, because knowing that some people from our pilgrimage group just on the way over had some difficulties, or watching, it's interesting. I was talking to a priest right before I left, and he had just gone on a pilgrimage, and he said the most beautiful thing for me about the pilgrimage was that I got to share life with people who I would otherwise never share life with. For the 2 weeks that you're on pilgrimage, you're with this group of people, and you're with them at all kinds of hours. You see them early in the morning, you see them late at night, you see them when they're fresh and ready to go, and you see them when they're tired from a long way. Yeah, you see them when they're feeling a little bit sick, when they're feeling run down, when their feet hurt, when they're grumpy. You see them when they're frustrated by the culture not being familiar to them. I got to share life with these people for that time, and there really was something very beautiful about that. So it was good to come home.
Can you tell me about the priest convocation, right? So like, what was that like? It was
every couple
talks,
of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, every couple of years, the priests of the diocese get together. Most dioceses do something like this. Every couple of years, we get together for a few days of prayer and fellowship. And the idea with these days of prayer and fellowship is that, number one, we pray together with our bishop. Number two, we get to spend time with each other. We get to see each other. We get to reacquaint ourselves. Even though we're geographically a very small diocese, it's possible to go to something like this, and it would be the first time that you've seen some guys in months.
Really?
It's possible for us to not see each other just because we get busy with our parishes.
Yeah.
Heck, I realized last month that I went to downtown Fairfield, and it struck me that I hadn't been to downtown Fairfield in 2 weeks.
Right.
I live in Fairfield.
You live in Fairfield.
And I just hadn't gone to this particular part of town in 2 weeks because I didn't have any reason to, and so I just didn't.
Yeah.
It's possible for us as priests to just not see one another for an extended period of time, and it's not because we don't like each other. It's just we don't do it. So it was great to be with the guys. And then the other piece of it is it's meant to be a formative time. So there's talks, there's conferences. This year we had Monsignor Tom Caserta, who's a priest of the Diocese of Brooklyn. He's excellent, and the beautiful thing was, I think we need to make sure that we do this going forward into all of our convocations. We've sometimes done this, sometimes not. But because we only had one speaker, he was able to give us a coherent vision. So his talks built one on the other, and that just made it really beautiful to build the talks on one another.
Yeah.
In the past, sometimes we've had excellent speakers, but they haven't been speaking about a common theme, or they've been speaking about a theme, but because they're three individuals who don't know one another, their talk is kind of, here it is, and now I'm leaving, and I'm not going to be here for the next talk to see how this person builds, or I wasn't here for the first talk, so I have no idea what you guys have heard. So it can be a little bit disjointed that way.
Yeah.
But this
were
one,
you
really
you
beautiful.
like all prayed out? You know what I mean?
I wasn't, but if I'm honest, I wasn't especially looking forward to the convocation. And I was very edified by some of my brother priests who had been telling me that they were actually very excited for it. Yeah. So I was super grateful to have them because they wanted to be there. They were excited about it. They were looking forward to the whole event. They were ready for it in a way that I wasn't. And it was very good to have their example because it opened me up. It I mean, also when you're just with people that are excited, that helps you get excited. Yeah, very human. One of the surprises of the priest convocation was that in two different homilies given by two different priests on 2 different days, Monsignor Ed Scull was named and was spoken about. Monsignor Scull was the pastor here at St. Pius for 30 years. And he was kind of legendary. In his day, Monsignor Scull was, I would say he was one of the last of the really old school pastors that you were still afraid of. Like back in the day when the pastor really ruled the roost and you kind of had to be afraid of him. He was known for being one of the toughest guys out there. but he was also very well known by brother priests and by people in the parish for when you knew him and when you got to know him, you loved him and he loved you.
Right.
I only knew him in retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And what I can tell you about Monsignor Edskull in retirement is that he was one of the gentlest, kindest, funniest men you'd ever meet.
Really?
And because I was assigned here at St. Pius, he was always really supportive of me. And he would always ask me, how are you doing? Wanted to make sure that I was doing okay. He was a guy who I really appreciated. And when in my time as parochial vicar, there was a little crisis here in the parish. He pulled me aside. I happened to see him like the week after it all was crumbling. And he pulled me aside and he said, hey, kid, don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. I'm praying for you because you're going to have to really help those people. And he was so supportive of me in a time where it wasn't anything that I did. I was not guilty of anything.
Yeah.
There were some things going on here in the parish, and he was right there to support me. Anyway, two different priests talked about him as this example that you might not expect because he had this reputation in this way. But in retirement especially, some of his wisdom was really freely shared. He would talk about how much he loved his priesthood, how much he loved the people, and the gift of being a priest. And he would talk about it in a way that if you had only heard stories of Edskull as a pastor, you would think there's no way that's the guy who's got these very pious thoughts and who's like this. There's no way. And he was just a beautiful man. And it was interesting hearing these stories. That was,
and so were these stories from people who knew him firsthand?
Yeah,
right.
But
and like knew him really well.
What was not necessarily really well. One of them was from a priest who was ordained maybe a month before Ed died.
I see, okay.
But he got to know him in those final days. And another was from Monsignor Culinary, our vicar general. Yeah, sure. Talking about some just personal acquaintance with him and everything. But it was like we were all laughing. Like oddly enough, and nobody expected this. Like, who thought coming to this convocation that Edskull was going to be the model that we were looking at? This was not the expectation of anybody walking through the doors when we got there. But it was. I think it was a really good moment, and I think a good reminder to us as priests that there's an awful lot that God's going to do with us. We just have to give him the space. So
awesome,
it was good.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, so I'm thank you for sharing for the last hour. Right, you did all the talking this time.
Sorry.
No. I wanted to hear about it.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, don't be sorry. And so I guess I'll leave my final note will just be a look ahead, right, for what's coming up.
Oh yeah, what are we doing?
One of the episomes.
Tell me what's happening.
Right. So one of our next episodes, it should be our next episode, barring any dramatic events, will be an interview with a woman named Susie, and it'll be about Saint Therese, the miracles that have been compiled in Lisieux, right? So the name of the book is A Shower of Roses, right? So she's not the author of the book, but she is who will be speaking to about the book.
You should get a copy of this book now and read it ahead of our next episode. Yes. So pick up your copy of A Shower of Roses by Camille Barrett.
I think it's Angelico Press.
Yep, published by Angelico Press.
And so there's a whole series of miracles. Basically, it's a compilation of miracles that have been submitted to Lisieux. It includes the 4 miracles that were used for Saint Therese's beatification and then canonization. Right, so we've got officially incredibly well researched miracles as well. But there's also the stories of apparitions of Saint Therese, and specifically her apparitions on the battlefield in World War I. That was what really intrigued me. And of course, that won't be the only thing that we talk to Susie about because this is the tangent, but that'll be our jumping point. So look for that next week. Grab the book ahead of time. Again, holding it up one more time, A Shower of Roses. Grab the book ahead of time if that's something you want to do, and that's what's coming up.
Sweet.
So, yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Father Sam. Thanks for sharing.
You'll have to tell me off the air about some of the other things that we've got coming because I can't remember them all.
Yeah, that's good. That'll give me a chance to check our calendar.
Good. All right. Hey, it's really good to see you again. It's been way too long since we've been able to do this. I'm really happy to sit with you today.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks, Matt.
And next pilgrimage I'm coming on.
Yeah. Without your wife? No, we can bring her too.
No.
It'll be great.
No. All right. Thanks, Father Sam.
Peace, brother. God bless.
Peace. See you later. Thanks for watching today's video. Let us know what you thought down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.